My fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, good morning.
Good morning.
It's so great to see all of you again today. I finally made it, my 10th speech. And I'm so proud of my achievement, but mostly I'm thankful to all of you because without your kind support, I wouldn't have been able to do this by myself. But I've got a little secret to tell you. All of the ideas that I presented here in my speeches, not one of them has been original, not a one. Everything has been inspired by books that I've read, ideas or speeches that I've heard, and people that I've encountered, such as yourselves. And the funny thing is that these sources of inspiration, they've always been there. But it's only been recently that I've been able to tune into them and listen to them and use them with any amount of success. Why is that? I think it has to do with positivity. For the last 2 years, I've been putting out positive energy by smiling more, complaining less, complimenting others, and celebrating their success. Do you think I figured this out all by myself? No. Somebody else had to tell me that I was doing something wrong. Somebody else had to tell me that I needed to change to fix what I was doing wrong. And I've shared that experience before in a previous speech, and it was my former boss. 2 years ago, he sat me down and he told me that I needed to change my negative, complaining attitude if I wanted to move forward. He knocked me off the track that I was on, a track that I thought was perfectly fine, but it was preventing me from moving forward. And I managed to follow his advice. I recognized my faults, and I put out that positive energy. And that positive energy has come back to me in the form of happiness, satisfaction, and success in both my personal and professional life. And one person that has been a constant in my life, a refuge from my struggles, has been my wife, and she's sitting right there. My life started to change for the better the day that I met her, 12 years ago. The first thing that I noticed about her was her radiant smile that was surrounded by the cutest pair of dimples. And even back then, I had the good sense to say hello to her, to compliment her. And of course, I was flirting with a beautiful woman, but she must have noticed something genuine, a willingness to be kind with my words. And since then, I've been the luckiest man on earth for 12 years. She has changed my life for the better. She's made me a happy person. Because before I met her, I was very unhappy. I suffered from anxiety and depression for many years. I was stuck on an unhealthy track, and I didn't know how to get myself off. But meeting her did that for me. It knocked me off that unhealthy track that I was on. Seeing what a happy and joyous and positive person that she was and still is affected me. It made me want to be more like her so that I could be with her, so she would want to be with me. And because we have so much love and respect for each other, she's able to tell me the times when I've had a little bit too much of myself, I'm a little too cocky. She's able to tell me right away, knock me down a little bit. And for that, I appreciate her. Well, I've always valued people that are able to do that. They're able to tell you that you're doing something wrong. They care enough about your well-being to tell you that you're doing something wrong. I've been lucky to have all kinds of people like that in my life. They tell you you're doing something wrong, and they do it in a way that doesn't hurt your feelings. Well, when I was a child, I was taught that if I had nothing good to say, I should say nothing at all. And I think most children are taught that because children tend to say whatever's on their mind. They have no filters. How many of you have young children, 3, 4, 5 years old? Right? Don't they say anything that's on their mind? Do they ever embarrass you? All the time, right? My mother tells a story of when I was a little boy and she invited a guest over to our house. And she would sit and talk with the guests for hours. And I would come up to where they were sitting. And I would say to my mom in a loud voice, "Mom, why is this lady still here?" When is she going to leave? Doesn't she have her own house to go to? And my mom would die of embarrassment. That is why she always taught me to say nothing at all unless I had something good to say. Now that's good advice if you're a kid, but when you're an adult, it's not so good because it can prevent you from saying something to someone you know, especially if they're doing something wrong and you're not aware of it. Now for myself, I'm a little bit of a late bloomer, and I've had trouble doing that. I'll tell you another story about it. Just this past year, I got a new job, and my new coworkers and I went out to lunch. And it included my new boss, and we sat down to eat a meal, and my boss was sitting in front of me, and in the middle of the meal, he got a little piece of rice stuck on his face. And I noticed it, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want to embarrass him. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. And I kept hoping he would wipe it away with a napkin, but it was right here and he kept missing it. A few minutes later, another coworker noticed it and said to him, "Oh, you've got a little piece of rice on your cheek." And he said, "Where?" And she said, "Right here." And he wiped it off and he thanked her. He says, "Thank you so much. You saved me some embarrassment. I would have walked out of the restaurant with a piece of rice on my cheek." And at that moment, I was so disappointed in myself because I couldn't find the right words to say to help my boss, to save him some embarrassment. I couldn't give him that constructive criticism. But I'm getting better at it. And I think being a member of Queen's Best Toastmasters is helping me achieve that goal. Because here at this meeting, every meeting I learn how feedback, constructive criticism is given. And I have the proof. I have evidence. I've got documentation. It's like a conspiracy to make me a better speaker. These here are all the feedback slips that you've given me for all my speeches. And I read these every week before I prepare a speech. And I'm going to read some of them to you, the ones that are impacted me. All of them have. For my second speech, positive feedback. Very nicely organized. Good use of humor. Great usage of a quote. Area for improvement. Consider using the speaking area more extensively. The next speech. Fantastic speech. Truly well delivered. Good, strong presence in the speaking area. Confident delivery. Great body language. Area for improvement. On occasion, you're using now or now then as a filler word. It's a small issue, but you might want to try to adjust that, and I always try. Next speech. Clear, loud voice. Good storyline. Great use of body language and facial expressions. Area for improvement. Monotone presentation tends to lose the audience's attention. The next speech. Wonderful speech. Really inspiring. Great eye contact. Voice projection captivated the audience's attention, so I was listening. Area for improvement. Maybe you could utilize the stage area a little bit more, so I got to keep working on that. But as you can see, to truly impact someone's learning, it's so important to start first with praise because it builds trust. When my former boss told me that I needed to change my negative attitude because it was hurting my career, he did it after many years of telling me that he valued my knowledge and he appreciated all my work. He was building a foundation with me, kind of like a bank account, and it was made of trust. And that's how he got his message across to me. With my wife, it's much easier because we have love, devotion, and respect for each other. So we value each other's opinion, and we know that we have each other's best interest in mind. My friends, I've been helped so much by the kind words of those that I've surrounded with, like yourselves. And I've endeavored to give that back through positive energy. And that's really made me happy. Because that's been my struggle in my life. My passion is to be happy and to make sure that others around me are happy as well. Because for so much of my life it's eluded me. And I want to leave you with a quote. And it's my favorite type of quote because it tells a story. And the source of the quote is a little controversial. Some people say it was John Lennon who said it. Some people know. And I don't care who said it. I love it so much that I made a poster out of it. And it begins. When I was 5 years old, my mother told me that happiness was the key to my life. So true of my mother. She said the same thing to me. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. Yeah, they asked me the same thing. I wrote down happy. Oh, I only wish I had the wisdom to write down happy, but I never did. They told me I didn't understand the assignment, and I told them they didn't understand life. Now, it's a great message, but it's taken me a lifetime to learn it. But what I like most about this is the first part. Because thinking back on my life, my mother, she always said that to me. She never said she wanted me to be a doctor. She never said she wanted me to be a lawyer. She only ever said that she just wanted me to be happy. Well, Mom, here I am. And I've finally grown up to be exactly what you wanted. And for that, Mom, I thank you, and I love you, and I appreciate you with all my heart. And to you, my wonderful Toastmaster friends, thank you so much for your kind words and inspiration, because you've helped me. And realize that you have so much power in your words to change people, like myself, for the better. Always strive to say it, no matter what it is, and to say it well. Mr. Toastmaster.